For data collections, we need research tools. So in order to get that legitimate data collections from primary sources, we need tools to collect the data. Methodology and also techniques to collect the data is also important for in the case of reliability of research. For data collection, we have two types of data collection, either primary or secondary data collection. Here in primary data collection, process of gathering data collection as data collection at the source, which means either by, if I say that we are doing like exposed factor research, we have to gather information from the people who has experienced the problem. If we make a survey, we have to take a survey from the people who have experienced the problems, who have uh, affected by the problem, or who needs to seek solution for the problem. So data collection, then original data is collected by the researcher for a specific purpose. It could be further analyzed into either qualitative research and quantitative data collection. Research method includes method numbers are not used. Rather, it is based on qualitative aspects like emotion and feeling of the research. An open-ended questionnaire is the best method in this. We have close-ended and then open-ended questionnaires. Like you can ask questions such as on the rate of 1 to 10. You can rate the government and a single policy, anything like that. In open-ended questionnaire, we can have more qualitative data. Then we can use methods to convert those qualitative data into quantitative data. Examples such as online forums, online communities, web survey chat, online in-depth interviews. Then quantitative method. It is presented in numbers and for education requires mathematical, in direction requires mathematical calculation. Examples from face-to-face interviews, we can collect through online, mail, and also phone. Secondary data collection is referred as collecting or gathering data second-hand by a researcher who is not the original user. The data is already in exist in the form of journals, published books, or on online portal. Easy and inexpensive way of collecting data. Importance of data collection, which includes integrity of the research. Prime reason for collecting data, either through qualitative and quantitative method, is to make sure the research in question has integrity and it can reduce errors in the view, making hypothesis and basic understanding of the problem. The decision making, risk of error in decision making is minimized and the data is accurately collected, so the researcher doesn't make any uninformed decisions. Saves time and cost. What are data? We can use tools like to collect data. We can use tools such as questionnaires, checklists, case studies, interviews, observation, and survey. In interview, there is a face-to-face conversation between researcher and the subject, whoever is giving responses. The purpose is to collect data for research from the subject. Advantages include information given is in-depth, freedom of flexibility, and then accurate data is given. And disadvantages include time-consuming process and it is expensive to collect. Here, next questionnaire, the researcher asks a series of questions and receive response from the subject. Questionnaires mainly designed to collect data from a group. In questionnaire, three kinds of questions are used: fixed, alternative, scale, and open-ended questions. Advantages include large number of people can be administered. It can be used to compare data, easy to analyze, inexpensive from others. Identity of the responder is protected. Identity of the responder is protected. Disadvantages include respondent may lose interest in the midway, Respondent may answer dishonestly. Some of the questions may be left unanswered, so which leads to inconsistency or incompleteness. The researcher may not analyze all the questions. And then report. It is a process of gathering and submitting data for further analysis. Key to this is accurate reporting, because inaccurate reporting leads to uninformed decision making, can make a biased decision. Advantages include informed decision making, easily accessible. Disadvantages, the answer that is self-reported may be exaggerated. Self-report may be exaggerated. Business in result, biasness in result. Respondent not giving all details due to shyness. It's not possible. Existing data, we have advantages such as very high accuracy, which means that already researcher have done completeness and then incompleteness and the inconsistency in the data. Whenever we collect data, we have to clean the data and transform the data for processing. So it have high accuracy. And then easy access to information is available. Disadvantages include problems with evaluation, difficulty in understanding because it is collected by others, and for those purpose, for their research question the data is collected. So if we took a problem, whenever we took a problem, it is to be specific. Then only we can complete the research in the given amount of time. So in order to complete the results, either we can choose primary data and then we have to transform the data. Either we can choose secondary data. The problem with secondary data is that data collected by others for their own research question. So some of the data might not needed, or some of the data might include data that can lead us to incorrect research answers. Observation method, data is gathered through observation by the researcher. The nature of observation could be done either as a complete observer, an observer as a participant as an observer, or as a complete participant. This method is a key base of formulating a hypothesis. Advantages include it is easy to administer, great accuracy with results, unwilling respondents situation does not arise in this. Disadvantages include some phenomena are not open to observation, it cannot be relied upon, bias can be raised, it is inexpensive to administer, its validity cannot be predicted accurately. Questionnaire. What is questionnaire and how to construct a questionnaire? There are some questions asked in the previous exams. A questionnaire is a research instrument consisting of series of questions to the respondent for the purpose of collecting information. It is used during structured surveys or interviews. Then it was invented by Statistical Society of London. It is invented by questionnaire invented by Statistical Society of London in 1838. It is cheap and does not require much effort. It could be verbal, non-verbal, or telephonic, or through survey, and it is very simple to compile data in this because answers given by respondents are standardized. Types include either open-ended or close-ended or combined of both the types. In close-ended, respondent pick an answer from the given options in the questionnaire. In open-ended questionnaire, offer flexibility to respondents to answer the questions. In combined, questions begin with closed-ended with specific information asked and then go to open-ended to elaborate those questions. So here the problem lies with the questionnaire might lead to might lead the respondent to give incorrect result, such as there are some research, some people don't want to give answers, so it might lead to inconsistency. Question sequence. Okay, what sequence can be handled? The question should flow logically in questionnaire from least sensitive to most sensitive, from factual to elaborative, from behavioral to attitudinal, from general to specific. The order here is screens. It is used as a screening method to find out early whether or not someone should complete the question. Warm-ups, simple to answer help. It is simple to answer helps capture interest in the survey and may not even pertain to research activity. Transitions, these questions are used to make different areas flow well together. Skips, it includes questions similar to if yes, then answer question 5. If no, then continue to question 6, such as if conditions. Difficulty level. These questions comes toward the end because progress bars let the respondents know that they are almost done. Therefore, the respondent is more than willing to answer these questions. This is for online transition, online data collection. Then classification. Classification includes classification or demographic questions should be at the end because these questions are personal in nature, which will make respondent uncomfortable and not willing to finish the survey. Basic rules for questionnaire item construction. The statement used in the questionnaire must be interpreted by respondents in the same way. Yes, there is a huge possibility the question might be interpreted differently. The statement must be used in a way where persons that have different opinions or traits gives different answer. Always give space in the questionnaire where the respondent may write an answer. We can give a box like options. Only positive statement must be used, negative or double negative statement must be avoided. Assumptions not to be made about the respondent. Easy to understand language must be used in questioning. So, like when I was writing an exam, exam one time, I was asked, I don't know the word, akin. Akin. There is a word, akin. I don't know the meaning of the word. That I find out it is similar. It is meaning of the word akin is similar. So if someone is in questionnaire, if someone is giving answers, maybe they are not able to understand the words in the question. So the language must be easy to understand. The question in the questionnaire must not be biased or even leading to participants towards an answer. There is a huge possibility for biased questions. Questionnaire administration modes. Yeah, we have how we can collect data from them. Face to face, here questionnaire is presented orally by the interviewer. Paper and pencil. Questions are presented in paper and respondents have to click using can give answers using paper or writing method. Computerized questionnaire. In this, questions are presented on the computer after the sections of answers computer, then select the next question based on previous answer. Possible. We are using online forms like now. Concerns with questionnaire. Though questionnaires are inexpensive, quick, and easy to analyze, sometimes the questionnaire can have problems than can have more problems than benefits. For example, the researcher may never know if the respondent understands the question, unlike interviews where the researcher knows. There is a complete incoherent situation. Like if we give students sometimes if we give a questionnaire to a student, sometimes what he do is basically he just tick answers. He just tick 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then he just wanted to complete in order to say that I just want to complete this questionnaire and move on to other one. So they don't want to give any research. So just like that, some people might find it difficult or might find it not interested. Here in questionnaire, questions are so specific that the information gained can be very minimal. Questionnaires produce very low respondents, whether they are all mail or online questionnaire, because the respondent may not find it interesting. Also, population also we have later. The other problems associated with response rates is that sometimes when the people return the questionnaire, they either have a very positive review or very negative. People are unbiased. People who are unbiased do not respond because it is not worth that time. The questionnaires has been collected based in sound sampling technique to get better results. It is to be non-repetitive. We have to use sampling technique. Okay. Who is the respondent? Whether that respondent is under our, whether that respondent is considered as a subject. So those we have to consider. And then bibliography. How to add bibliography in thesis. It is a list of all sources researchers have used in the research work. Bibliography includes name of the author, title of work, publishing house, name and location, date of publishing, page number of the source. Difference between bibliography, annotated bibliography, and works cited in page. Work cited in page is a list of work cited in the text of the paper. We can use it in the, we can cite them in the footer. A, a bibliography is a list of every work researcher used while writing a paper, whether or not it was specifically cited. An annotated bibliography is a bibliography with a short note by the author explaining the significance of the source. Format, APA or the MLA format, we have already seen. Author's name, last name, first name, book publication year, title, publication place, and publisher. Here we have Stokes E, author's name, and then year of the publication, and then publication title, book title, and then publication place, publisher, and encyclopedia like this. Newspaper and magazines. If we refer encyclopedia, we can say that author's last name and first initial, date, incest, title of the article, and title of encyclopedia, and volume of pages, city of publication, and then publishing company. Newspapers and magazines. That author's last name and then first name, publication date, year of publication of either new, if it is newspaper, date wise, if it is magazine, month wise or week wise. And then article title, and then periodical title, volume number, and if available, inclusive case. Okay. Then if we refer websites, author name, date of publication of that web page, title of the article, title of periodical, volume number, retrieved month, day, year from full URL. Then Chicago manual style. We see in APA, MLA style, then Chicago manual style. Citation in Chicago manual style is cited in footnotes and not in bibliography. Chicago manual style states that citation in Chicago manual style is cited in footnote, not in bibliography. Then encyclopedia we have seen, newspaper, websites we have seen. Then MLA, Modern Language Association method. Name of the author, and then title of the book, city of publication, and then publication date. Okay. Then research synopsis. It's about, you can say, how, what is the problem statement, how much long it is going to take complete the research, and then amount required to complete the research, and then how we are going to do this research methodology, those all details, uh, proposal details in a single document. Okay. Research synopsis is a short sketch of research thesis and all steps proposed to be followed in a research. It gives a clear view of research aim and time frame in which it is to be done. It helps researchers to stay focused on objective of the research and to avoid unrelated thing within the research. In short, it is a plan for your research project. So we can say synopsis is a plan for our research project. Here are the items that is to be added in the research synopsis. Background of the research, methodology of the research, how we are going to collect the data and analyze the data. Either it is qualitative or quantitative, and then research question, basic question, hypothesis, formed and answered to be found, objectives of the study, literature review, limitations, and references. These are to be added in the synopsis. Abstract, we all knew abstract. It is a grasp. It is a grasp of entire research work. In order to help reader quickly know about the purpose of research article, abstract is here. It is like a brief summary. It allows the writer to elaborate upon each major subject of the paper and helps readers decide if they want to read the rest of the paper. It is one paragraph only, comprising generally not more than 300 words. Not more than 300 words. An abstract always appears at the beginning of the thesis or research paper, acting as the point of entry for any given academic paper or patent application. Okay. Purpose here.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, what is the main difference of synopsis and abstract?
No, in synopsis, we can say that it is a plan. Okay. It is a plan. It contains all the related plan about the research, such as here, research question, methodologies to be followed, objective of the study, and references, literature review. In abstract, it is about the research paper. Research paper itself, it is like can say what we can say. It's like a one-line review. You see, if you watch movies or if you watch anything else, they will give one-line reviews. So it is about what inside. So basically focused on what is the problem, how I can handle the problem, and what else will be the future enhancement. So it just gives a piece of knowledge from the paper. What is inside the paper? What is about the paper? It's morely based on questions and answers alone. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Here in questions, we can say that what made you to decide to do this study or project, and then why is this study important to your field? Why should someone read your entire essay? In short, the first section of your abstract should include importance of the research and its impact on related research field and the wider specific domain, and stating the problem that our research addresses, and then combine the problem with motivation section, but from perspective of organizational clarity, it is the best to separate the who. Here we have to answer the questions: what is the problem, which research is trying to solve. Then discuss about approaches, methods, and materials. Establish importance of the research, and then discuss how you solved or made progress on this problem, and how you conducted your research, showing the reader the internal engine of your research machine and how it functioned in an entire study. Summarizing your results, overview of the outcome of the study, like avoid using many vague qualitative terms and try to use at least some quantitative terms. Solve the qualitative statements in conclusion segment. State your conclusion. Okay. Such as if I have a research on, like, if I have a research on like recommendation systems using machine learning, improving recommendation. So I can start with what is recommendation system, what is recommendation system, and then why I have to improve, why I have to improve the recommendation system. Then problems, so I can say the two problems associated with existing recommendation system. Then what methodology I can use to improve the recommendation system, and how I can improve recommendation system, such as in what in numbers. If I say that in existing accommodation system can works up to 65% correct, I can say that my solution have improved from 65 to 72%. So how this 7% is the focus here is I'm going to improve the recommendation system. I'm stating in my abstract, I'm stating everything and saying the results that I have improved 7% of existing recommendation system. So the paper is about how I have improved the 7% system. So this should be my abstract. Okay. So okay, types of abstract. Critical abstract. It is a comment about research's validity, reliability, or completeness. In this, researcher compares and evaluates the work with other work on the same subject. Okay, just like a literature review. Okay, so here in critical, it's just a critic. Okay, length of this abstract is not more than 400 to 500 words. Descriptive abstract. Types of information found in the work. It indicates types of information found in the work. It is research. It includes purpose, methods, and scope of the research. It describes the work that is being summarized by the researcher in short, usually not more than 100 words. Then informative abstract. Here, main arguments, important results, and evidences are presented by research. It also includes the results and conclusion of the research. The length is not more than 300 words. So here, the example I have stated here, like this would be informative abstract. Here I can say that I have given the information, all the relevant information from starting. Why, what, why, how, all the questions have been answered in informative abstract. And then highlight abstract, mainly written to attract the attention of the reader. It cannot be independent of the associated article, but it is rarely used in academic writing, such as trailers. Difference between research synopsis and abstract. An abstract summarizes, usually in one paragraph, 300 words or less, the major aspect of the entire paper is a prescribed sequence that includes the overall purpose of the study and research problems you investigated, the basic design of the study, major findings or trends found as a result of your analysis, and brief summary of your interpretation and conclusion. Synopsis is the gist of your planned project submitted for approval from competent authority. It gives panoramic view of your research for quick analysis by the reviewers. Okay, you can see another difference here. So this is for paper to explain what is inside the paper or what is inside the thesis or dissertation. And synopsis is about what research I have done. Okay, what research I have done and my plan to conduct the research. So it has to be submitted to authority, either through guide to get off the department or control of examination. Then research report, how to write the report. We have seen, like we have seen difference between thesis, dissertation, and then report. Research report is basically summary, basically a summary of what the student has learned through their exploration of your topic in books, encyclopedia, or the internet. Okay, just morely focused on literature or critics or survey or like opinion. The student will read the desired materials such as several non-fiction books on a specific subject matter and organize the information. They will summarize what they have learned in the well thought out manner. These reports should take anywhere from week to month to complete. The 3 to 5 paragraphs of the report should be written in an informative tone, devoid of opinion. It should be concise and to the point. For the research report, the student is basically delving onto one topic, organizing the material he has found, and sharing what he has learned in his report. Research paper, piece of academic essay writing, generally done as requirements for a class. You have to be an independent research. After research, you have to write description of the findings. Moreover, you present your evaluations and arguments on the topic under consideration. The research paper contains students' analysis and opinion of a subject. He will still do a fair amount of research, and his paper should still include some summary of information. The writer will also offer his thoughts on what he has learned, and he will use quotes and authoritative opinion to back up his claim. This means that student will also need to use some form of citation to show from where their quotes and support materials have come, which will add the complexity of this assignment. These papers should take anywhere from 6 weeks to several months to complete. The research paper must include thesis statement, which causes the student to form and defend an opinion about the material. The completed paper should be clear, comprehensive, and it at least 6 to 8 pages in length to touch on why he chose the topic and how it affects the writer, as well as thoroughly explain what he has found about the subject. Difference here between research paper and research report. Research report and research paper often used interchangeably. Both of these assignments require research. They do differ in several ways. The student writing a research report does some research and churn out facts. A student writing a research paper analyzes the topic and forms an opinion. Okay. Then thesis. We have to submit thesis. A document students write during higher education to obtain an academic degree or qualification. It goes all depth of topic throughout the thesis work, and in the conclusion part, the topic and findings are summarized. Here, the steps to write thesis. Pick an area of research that we are excited about. Okay, and then select project which is unique, well-defined, open-ended questions of your thesis. Then look for projects that are educational and incorporate marketable skills. Visualize your finished publications and deck. These are the part. These are the steps to write a thesis. And then dissertation is a much more deeper exploration of research topic than a traditional essay. It is in the form of book with at least 5 chapters. Some university require a 6th chapter in the form of a recap of the previous chapter. Okay. This is a brief look at the research question containing the preview of subsequent chapters. Literature review sections contain detail of procedures and methods used to collect and analyze data. The PhD candidate details how the data analysis applies to the collected data. The section provides interpretation of data and comparison to existing literature as well as future research possibilities. The order of the chapters follow a logical progression in which PhD candidates build on their theories and explain research choices in detail before coming to the final chapter that gives us weight to the value of the study itself. Difference between paper, thesis, and dissertation. Okay. All these terms are used interchangeably. One thing common to all this, there is a internal structure. Okay, all this the structure is almost same. You will find introduction, literature review, research methodology, results, discussion, and conclusion in all of them. Okay, here thesis and research paper difference here. Okay, major differences include this is concerned with central question or statement of story argument that leads to further research. Research paper is all about proving that central argument. Okay. Thesis is both about possibilities through the formation of numerous antitheses and about the end of all possibilities through the nullification of those antitheses. Okay. Hypothesis, null hypothesis, we have to hypothesis, null hypothesis. Okay. The research paper is about proving the central thesis statement. The research paper is about the central thesis statement or theory statement and concerned with gathering evidence and data to prove the same, exploring other possibilities and nullifying them and providing a speculation on future alternatives for the central thesis. The research paper is all about expliciting and proving the thesis. The thesis usually formed through extensive original thinking, then puts forth a proposal or statement. Okay. But the research paper requires tenacious resilience on part of the researchers to justify the central question. The later is a long process in which there is a gathering of evidence, rising and nullification of various other possibilities, and the application of theories and evidence to the central research question. All this done towards proving the thesis. The research paper might be called an explanation and extension of the thesis. The word thesis is sometimes used in place of research paper, but this is a theoretical error in which a part is substituted for a whole. A paper can be considered as a part of a thesis. The thesis statement is usually part of the research paper and not vice versa. Okay. Difference between thesis and dissertation. You need to collect information in order to prepare and complete a thesis. On the other hand, you need to research all by yourself in the case of dissertation. A thesis is short and takes less time to complete. A dissertation is long and takes more time to complete. In dissertation, you have to have a decent knowledge of the new discoveries in order to infer your conclusion. In thesis, you need to include a hypothesis based on your research. In a thesis, you get a scholarship. Well, in the case of inefficient, in the case of dissertation, in case of thesis, you must focus on primary argument in order to prove yes is temper. While the other hand, a dissertation, you need to focus on background work. A dissertation consists of theories, arguments based on original research. On the other hand, data collected in thesis based on theoretical analysis and context. So there is a slight views I have to define, like, you know, okay, whatever the researchers are doing in America are completely different in India. Okay, I say that if it's dissertation, we can call it as thesis. If they call it as thesis, we can call this as dissertation. Okay, okay, thesis writing we already seen. We have already seen thesis writing. Format of thesis include title, acknowledgement, table of contents, introduction, then abstract. You can say that abstract, then introduction. Methods, literature review, references. Okay, and the we can also include footnotes, table, figures, bibliography, appendix, and index in the this column. Research article we have already seen. Text we seen. Okay, we have seen. Hypothesis. Yes. Then hypothesis, important one. Okay, the hypothesis is an assumption. Okay. An assumption or proposition whose tenability is to be tested on the basis of its implications with empirical evidence and with the previous knowledge. It's a preemptive statement, pre-assumption statement of a proposition or a reasonable guess based upon available evidences, which the researcher seeks to prove through his or her study. According to Van Dalen, a hypothesis serves as a powerful beacon that lights the way of the research worker. Hence, setting a hypothesis when we start our research is extremely necessary as to provide direction and objective of our research project. You can say that, for example, I'm saying that uh, improving the computation system, I would say that a particular algorithm, one algorithm, or 75% correct. I would say that that same algorithm works 72% correct. Okay, so I have stated two hypotheses based on my my research, my uh, previous evidences using research and knowledge I have gained. So what I am going to find about whether the algorithm works 75% or 72%. I would say less than 70%. I would say greater than 75%. Okay. Either way, I would get a result. Either way, I would get a result. I am saying that it works 75%. My assumption. If I do this, if I implement my algorithm, it would work 75% correct. It may or may not be true. This is my assumption. This is my hypothesis. Okay, my assumptions based on my collected data and sorry, not collected data, my literature review, I am finding that it is 75% correct. Okay, that's may be true or may not be true. So either way, I'm going to get a result. Okay, that's my research defense. Then functions of hypothesis. Hypothesis predicts the association or relationship between two or more variables. Between two or more variables. It indicates what to look for an investigation. It instructs how to select a sample, choose a design of a research, how to collect data, and how to interpret the results to draw valid conclusions. It helps in formulating the theory of research. It determines the domain and range of the research. It enhances the objectivity in research and simultaneously strengthens the claim of the research. Okay. What are the sources of the research? It requires a researcher to be speculative, imaginative, having good knowledge, deep insight, and an analytical mind. The sources that are available with the researcher for deriving hypotheses here, creativity and experience of the research helps in deriving adequate hypothesis. Background information about the topic. The rich background of knowledge enables the researcher to find the key association among variables. Then research review is major steps of research. A researcher must possess a versatile intellect to spot contributing variables very quickly in study to creatively imagine the output or solution of the problem. Thus, an alert mind is capable of deriving a meaningful hypothesis and rejecting a faculty hypothesis. Analogies are a strong source for a formulation of hypothesis and finding out solution to the problem. Reasoning by analogy is based on similarities and differences between two situations in which a similar or the same phenomena are even explained. A systematic review and analysis of theories developed in the field of psychology, sociology, political science, and even in biological science may help the researcher to provide suggestive base of formula hypothesis. So, for example, I would say that we select uh, a broad theme of problem statements such as cyber crimes. I would say, I would say that number of users What data needs to be collected here? Okay. Number of sample, number of users, and in number of users, we have to divide into literate, illiterate, literate, and whether it is in rural or urban, in illiterate, whether it is rural or urban, and in rural, again in rural, whether age, we have to divide age category. Sorry, first male, female, male, female, again male, female. Again, we can start asking questions. Now here we can ask questions. We can divide much further about his age, and then religion, then his beliefs. We will focus on these questions. Like we can ask questionnaire, which includes our screen time, how many time we are using the using the mobile phone, whether he possesses internet banking, whether he sign up in websites, whether he have a strong password, whether someone else know the password of his phone, and most frequent websites that he visited, whether it he involved or affected by any cybercrime. These are the questions that I would follow if I ask the question. Based on this, my previous knowledge, I would state hypothesis that illiterate peoples affected more than literate people. My hypothesis one. So we have two variables here between illiterate people and literate people. I would say again, users with less screen time affected less than more screen time users. Again, go on with users have strong password, not affected. Okay, my statement may or may not be affected. You can see the hypothesis here. I am finding that these are variables. Okay, these are my subjects, and they possess variables like screen time, uh, whether they are holding banking, whether their account password is strong, and how frequent they are using their mobile, whether they have shared their password, and whether like same question can ask more questions like whether they use same password in all websites like that. Okay, here we can say that my variables here, password would be my variable, and then mostly screen time, and illiterate peoples, and then website they visit. So based on my variables, I would state a hypothesis. Okay. So any questions? We have more types hypothesis to be explored. We have to explore types and examples. So any doubts on today's session? If you have any doubts, we can explain, and not we can end the session. Any doubts?